One, two, three, action!
Action.
And we're back.
And we're back.
Let me put my glasses on so I can see. There we go. Hey, Steve and Ann coming to you live from our dining room in Bartlett, Illinois.
Yeah.
And today's question is, do you really care what people think? Because...
Well, and this topic came up today at work, and we were discussing, that it seems like in this day and age, everybody, and I mean everybody, has
including us.
Including us. Well, we probably have more than others. Has an opinion on what you're doing, what you're saying, what you're wearing, how you chew your gum, how you, whatever.
And why wouldn't you?
Well, with the social media, I think it makes it
more interesting.
Right. But one of the things that I find that is an unusual place for people to have opinions, for me, has been at the grocery store.
Whoa.
Big time. So you wouldn't think, it seems like it's an innocent place to not be judged. I have a time or two looked in people's baskets and thought, you should be on a no-carb diet. Just saying that's all. But anyway.
I can't believe you're buying all that soda pop. Look at you. Have you looked in the mirror lately? Is that what I look like?
And I'm not saying that, I'm not saying that I don't have flaws. But what I'm saying is, so...
And, honestly, now we're kind of on a health... I mean, not that we're not now, but we have been for a while. But when I go to the grocery store, I always look at the people and then I look at what's in their cart and I'm going,
How judgmental. So I guess we're just as bad. But I always love it, when I go to the grocery store and I put all my groceries on the belt, and I even bring my bags, disposable bags.
Oh, she's good.
Yes, I'm good. Not disposable.
I never remember.
But anyway, I'm at the grocery store. And this happened last week, and I had 4 bottles of wine. Yes, I did. And the lady said, "Oh, are you having a party? Having guests over?" And I was like, "No.
No, this is for me tonight.
This is for me. This is for me and my imaginary friends." And then there's the things, personal things, like, you put all this stuff on the belt, and there's this kind of weird person, and they're like, "Yep, okay, ringing through," and then, "Oh, the preparation age. I need a price check for the extra large cooling gel tube of preparation H." And I'm like, "It's not for me. It's for my husband." And it's the same, with odd purchases. You go to the store and you purchase sanitary napkins, batteries, and tinfoil. And people are like, "What's wrong?"
Okay, you're really scaring me.
Is there a theme here?
We put little tinfoil hats on our head, and then we cover our eyes with the pads.
Well, I said to him...
And then we hold the batteries in our hands.
I said, the Kotex pads, they're for my shoes, because I need extra padding. And I find these work really well. And then there's the greeters at Walmart when you just, and you just have a headache, okay? You just want to go in. You don't want people to talk to you, right? Right. I mean, that's what you said.
Yeah, they strike up a conversation. You go, "Damn it, I have a headache. I just want some aspirin. Can you stop talking?" But they're the nicest people in the world, especially when they're in a wheelchair.
Well, I'm not saying they're not nice, but if you continually go to a store, they'll say, "Oh, hi, you're back. Oh, you're buying chocolates again? Looks like you put on a few pounds." Or like your shoes, you're wearing those kind of shoes. It's actually cold outside and you're wearing shorts.
Or white before Memorial Day.
Well, we all do that. I mean, what can we do?
And just for the record,
yeah,
5 daughters. I can't tell you how many times I had to go to the grocery store and buy pads or tampons. And it's just like, I didn't care.
I did.
Whatever. And I didn't even have to say, "These aren't for me."
Well, I mean, I would never go...
I put them on my eyes.
Well, I would never go...
or my ears. Very cold. They work good inside my hat.
Well, I would never go in line when I had tampons or anything. If a man was in line, because I'm sure he'd be looking at me like, "Oh, she probably smells bad too." So I'm rather sensitive, but I mean,
know.
I've had people in the
I am
grocery,
very sensitive. Just so you know, I'm one of the most sensitive people in the world.
but I mean, I think even when you go into like a department store and you're buying a bathing suit and they look at you, they look at the bathing suit and they're like, have you ever had that smug laugh? I have.
Okay, I think you imagine that.
Well, I don't think so.
Women, 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 women.
I mean, we do have a good imagination, but you know, I've seen the looks.
Okay, the
So,
question
does that
is,
matter,
should
though?
you care what people think?
You shouldn't. Not in the grocery store anyway.
I mean, but we are subject to those. And for those of you, I don't know if you've ever seen this, but there's a series called Doc Martin. And it's British. It's filmed in Cornwall. And
It's
Martin
hilarious.
Clunes plays this country doctor, and he's very weird. But in the movie, and this is just like this little sidebar, they have this group of wandering teenage girls.
gaggle of girls.
A gaggle of girls.
Yes.
And they laugh and they make comments to all these different people in the show. And I mean, it would be seriously intimidating if I walked out on my street and there was a group of girls and they laughed at me.
You should be used to that. Your daughters are a gaggle of girls that laugh all the time.
But I
so.
don't pay attention to them. It would be strangers.
But has anybody else ever had that experience in the grocery store? I mean, I get comments all the time like, oh, you're trying that bacon. What's it like? You know, is it good? And I'm like, okay. Apparently, I have really good taste in food because everybody's always commenting on the things that I buy. Like, I buy a lot of things like Belgian endive and radicchio. And most of the checkers have no idea what that is.
Yeah.
And they comment on
We're
it.
eccentric.
No, we just like
That's no. If we're what is it? If you're poor, you're nuts. If you're rich, you're eccentric.
I would call us quixotic,
Quixotic.
which is just another fancy way for saying
You're
you're
nuts.
nuts. But we embrace nuttiness.
But the whole thing with the checkout thing, it's strange. And you know, I always wonder because when I go to the store and I buy kind of a strange mix of things, you know, like you were saying, tinfoil,
Batteries and Kotex.
Kotex. Like, what are they doing?
Now, if you
You
buy
throw them all in a pot with hot water.
if you buy Kotex in a bottle of whiskey, then people understand. I would understand if I was
If
checking.
a man is buying a
Yeah.
box of Kotex and a bottle of whiskey or
Yeah.
a case of beer or
Right.
whatever, yes, it makes perfect sense. But anyway, we shouldn't care,
No.
but we do.
I get really uncomfortable in the checkout line. I make sure that I go to somebody that isn't going to be too talkative, because if sometimes it's just like I want to get in and get out, but then do you miss that human connection? Sometimes yes, sometimes it's just like, shut up, I just want to go home, I don't feel well. Like you said, I go in for a box of Tylenol and I get a lecture. Or one person said to me, I had a bottle of wine and he said, you know, you should really watch it. You know, you shouldn't be drinking. And I'm like, it's one bottle
There's
of wine.
no straw in that bottle.
It's one bottle of wine, and I don't need you to make me feel guilty. Because as we know, guilt is the gift that keeps on giving.
It is.
It is. Irma Bombeck said that. I just have to give her the credit. I didn't make that up. Or the Catholics made it up. I'm not sure. But we're Catholics, so we're okay with that.
It works. It works for
It
us.
does. It has worked.
But anyway, we'll just say stop caring. Well, we can't. You can't. You just have to take it in stride. And I love, and we reference movies a lot. In the movie Something's Gotta Give with Keanu Reeves, Jack Nicholson, and what's her face? Diane Keaton. When Keanu Reeves comes to the door and Jack Nicholson answers the door. And Keanu Reeves says to Jack Nicholson, look who's answering the door. And he says, oh, look who's at the door. Where there's just this unruffled natural response. And
It's
I
called
love
confidence.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
okay with who you
You're
are.
just so in the moment. You're not defensive. You're not pretending. You're just relaxed and you're responding to the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that it was just this.
Yeah.
And look who's at the door. So we're both in the same place.
Right.
We're looking at each other right now. So
Well, you're both equal. I think that's what that says. So next time you go to the store, you get
just hit the checkout person before they start checking it, and then it would create a diversion.
Right.
And then you could run from the store and not be.
or so the next time you do get a laxative preparation H and a bottle of scotch
and eye drops.
and eye drops, just know to be okay with yourself. Because as I always say, oh, these are not for me. They're for my husband.
They're for my neighbor.
Or they could be for, you know what?
They're for my dog.
He's not going to like you for saying that. You know
He
that.
won't. And he can't say anything. He always says nice things to me.
That's what we want. Nice things.
There you go.
So thanks for watching. We'll come up with some other wisdom tomorrow that will blow your socks off. If you wear socks. Because if you don't, we won't judge, okay? Good times.